Welcome to Baked HR with Jasmine,
And Christina,
where we put the HR in humor.
here, there are no cover letters, no handbooks, just our take on
HR.
and recruiting.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Baked HR. Christina, guess what?
Jasmine, what?
We're adding a new Melissa to our team. I feel like we have a lot of Melissas, and so
We,
now we're adding a new one.
I'm so
do
excited
have
to
a
be
lot
new
of
one.
Melissas. Yay. Welcome, new Melissa. Why don't you introduce yourself for our followers, for our audience today?
Yes, so my name is Melissa Arvanitaki, and I am the director of HR at an entertainment company. And I've been there for over 15 years, and I'm really excited to be here to share my experience.
Well, great. We're so excited that you're here too, aren't we, Jasmine?
I was just about to say the exact same thing, so I guess we're thinking alike tonight.
See, we are on it. That means we are on it. That is a good sign. It's going to be a great episode. Okay, so Melissa, we got connected and chatted a little bit about your background and your current position, and you shared with us about, I think you're calling it an intern program that you guys have created. That's not like your traditional go to a college and recruit interns type of intern program. So can you tell us a little bit about what the program is and kind of what need it is meeting for you all? Like, why did you guys decide to create this?
Sure. So it's actually called the Peak Internship Program. So our employees can have a peek into other departments.
I like it.
And we even have like a little logo, like a little owl logo. We created it just because we heard from hiring managers how difficult it is to bring people on and the time it takes for them to learn about the organization, the systems, the customers, and just how we do things. And so I jokingly made comments of like, yeah, we could just train our customer service reps and you guys can just use them. Mm-hmm. And, as I started kind of talking about it, I was like, why can't this be a really good idea? So I started partnering up with the customer service training manager, and I said, hey, let's think about this. And it's just kind of started taking off a little bit with our own brainstorming.
So I have to ask because, HR, we're very skeptical about taking anything to the boss at the next level. After so many times of being told no, we're just typically like, you know what? You do what you do. So how did you all get the buy-in for this type of new project and rollout from your senior leadership?
I'm very lucky that my senior leadership, my CEO, my boss, they're very like, okay, go try it type of people. But what happened was that, I'm a talker, you know, and as I was meeting with other department heads, I would just float the idea and said, what would you think about this? And so I started categorizing people as like, they would love to do it, they want to know more, and maybe they're not ready. Mm-hmm. And so the people who really wanted to do it, I would go to them and say, hey, what do you think about this framework? What do you think about these questions? What do you think about what this looks like? And it was really easy. It was easier to push the program through knowing that I had at least 4 or 5 directors that would open their doors to somebody to come in and intern or take their time to train them because they loved the program. They were part of building the initial idea up. And because I had those means, as I talked it up to my boss and ultimately to the CEO, and I did end up telling all the department heads, like their bosses, hey, let me do this presentation. They were into it because they knew that I had done my due diligence and kind of flushing out what would work and what wouldn't work in terms of the departments that were participating. And I was able to put together a good story of, this, for example, going to product doesn't make sense right outright because it'd be too much training. So maybe they have to do an internship in a tech department, complete that, and then be eligible for this. And so they like the idea that there's a lot of thought into what the customer service reps would be trained on before they even get to their doorstep.
I was going to say, I think this worked out because you're not only showcasing like it's a good program and why it would work, but you're also doing the work for a lot. So the managers don't have to worry about, oh, well, I have to figure out this training program. I have to figure out what the employees are going to do. And so you coming to them with like the basic layer of it, I feel like that really definitely would help.
Yeah, and I think what was really helpful was partnering with my customer service training manager, because she knows how her customer service reps learn. And so we would go on LinkedIn and find different courses. So for example, we just launched a digital analytics one, an internship. So we went online and said, okay, what would they need to learn? They need to learn Google Analytics, they need to learn Excel, they need to make sure they have the basic mathematics in. So we go through and find all these courses, and we give them these ideas of, this is what you need in order to be successful in this. So you're not wasting everybody's time. We don't want them to feel, oh, I'm going to fail, so I don't want to do it. And we don't want the business owner, the person who's participating, to be frustrated because this person's not getting it. So we're just doing as much as possible, and to try to bridge those communication gaps.
Okay, so it sounds like you've got customer service rep are your entry level roles, and you're obviously there's a call center, so you're hiring a lot of them, I'm sure. Yeah. My little recruiter heart would love it if every organization only recruited their entry level positions, and then we could train everyone up and promote everyone up within the organization. And so it sounds like that's kind of what you're creating, that opportunity through this program here and really making it formal.
We've actually, that's my goal. Like my perfect life goal is we only hire customer service reps,
Yeah.
And obviously that's not realistic. However, I felt that our customer service reps just have so much knowledge of our product and customers. It's like we're not tapping into them as much as we could be. So how do we spotlight them? If a manager in technology feels, well, I'm not going to take them into consideration because they don't know XYZ, this internship will allow them to learn those skills. And now that no becomes less and less. So, and we'll use time as an example. One of my data directors had mentioned, it takes me at least 6 months to onboard somebody for them to learn something. I said, okay, but maybe we can teach a customer service rep how to read, digital dashboards, in 3 months, and do that analysis in 3 months. So you save 3 months of onboarding time. So it's like, where is the trade-off? And some places it's a little bit harder than others. And we're just trying to find where it works. What's funny is that for one of our internships, it just so happens that one of our people was going out on maternity leave. And so they used this as an opportunity to kind of interview different people to cover for her while she's gone. And so now whoever they choose is going to be covering for an extended period of time and really getting all this real life work experience just because they did this one little internship.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's really good. Well, and I know every customer I have, no matter what industry they're in right now, is complaining like recruiting is so hard, retention is so hard. So I would think that this would also help your retention, and that the employees would probably have a positive reaction to it. But what has been the feedback from the employees since you've rolled this out?
They're very excited about the opportunity of learning something new, and just an opportunity to try something else and to go be more in-depth into departments. I think that's just one of the things as we work remotely now. We used to be in-house and now we're 100% remote. Miss
good for y'all.
Yeah. Where you miss that camaraderie of like walking into the next, going over to the next area and saying, and so this is just an opportunity for them to even just learn what another department does and learn what those other people in like analytics or technology or QA or product, who they really are versus just being in their own little silo. Because that's another hard part, is you're not going to get exposed to any of those things just casually in the lunchroom.
Yeah. So I think that when I see these articles about CEOs who want the employees to come back to the office because of kind of what you just said, there's no water cooler talk, there's no like natural team building going on or whatever. I always think, well, but what are you trying to supplement that with now? Because now you just have to be more intentional, because most of these places weren't being intentional about it when we were all under one roof. it just kind of happened naturally because it's real easy to bump into somebody on your way to the break room or whatever. So I really like that you guys have put some intentional thought behind how are we building these bridges and not forcing everyone on to maybe an unnecessary Zoom happy hour to try to fill that void.
It's not to say we didn't do that for a while. we definitely, I think, we try. We do have like hubs of people. So we have an LA, Los Angeles hub, and we have San Antonio hubs. And then we've hired people kind of sporadically around the US, or people have actually relocated to other states. And so we do have monthly get-togethers where people can come. And I think some departments have started to get together where they fly everybody into one location and they time it around our pop-up lunch. So then they can meet up people from other departments as well. And it's not just they show up and it's only their group. Mm-hmm. So it's been nice to see. I think we have 2 departments. So in a couple of days, I'll be seeing a couple of departments I haven't seen.
Nice. Well, that's fun. And always like, if you don't make it like, really super, in my opinion, but that's just my personality. Like if you don't make it like super cheesy and make me feel like I have to go and like make a friend, like it's different to like get the group together and like catch up in person, but like Jasmine, stop. If you're trying to make me make friends, I'm not gonna be friends with anyone here, but like period. That's the end of the story. But I think that I would love to see a world where all of our organizations really helped facilitate something like what you're doing, giving people the opportunity to learn before they commit, on both sides of the equation, really, right? The employee and the hiring manager. And to define like a career path, like you were saying earlier, like, okay, you might need to learn this skill over here first before you could be considered for a promotion up here. We would consider that like, oh, you can double your pay or whatever the circumstances are. And I think that's really neat.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that I think in recruiting, people don't understand, right? The power or the potential for jobs. I noticed this with people on Twitter that people say, these are my skill sets. And it's like, well, in tech, you could do these 3 things, like these type of jobs. And I think that people just don't understand what they're capable of because they just don't know what other things are done in the organization, what other jobs there are. I mean, I'm sure that even though it makes a lot of sense for people to say, oh yeah, that person's a recruiter, it's like, but not everybody who's a recruiter is an HR person and vice versa. Sometimes there are 2 different jobs.
Oh God.
Thank you for that.
Did I hit a nerve? I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, I love it. Thank you.
And so the people that can't do both, that's great. But then, like me, I can do both, but that means I'm probably geared more towards a smaller company than the bigger company because the bigger you go, the more siloed you are. Mm-hmm. But it's like people don't get that. So I do a lot of mentoring of college, university kids at my alma mater at LMU. And I talk about that. You got to decide how you're going to build your career. And you just don't know. No, and it's okay that you don't know. And that's what we're here for, is to help them. The elders that are here to help.
Oh, okay. Now you lost me. With all those elders, I'm done. I'm out. I am very much in denial about that. Very much in denial. No, I think that's really great. Jasmine and I have been joking about transferable skills for at least the last 24 hours. If anyone saw the Instagram live we did on 10/16, where we talked about the applicant with the showgirl experience and how we immediately pulled that as a transferable skill. Like, oh, you're probably already primed to do sales or customer service or hell, recruiting, But we toss that phrase around like transferable skills, like everyone knows how to dissect those skills and apply it to the next position. And I think you just like hit it directly when you said like people don't know what these other positions are even doing in the organization. So they can't translate those skills. They can't say, this is my transferable skill from this title to that title.
What's funny is I was telling my son, he was asking me for advice. And he's like, how do I this is what I want to do. And I said, okay, what is your dream job? And he told me, and I said, okay, let's go find it on the internet and find out what it's called. And then I showed him the qualifications and said, this is your roadmap. You sit there and you say, you need 3 years of data analytics. You need 4 years of this, 2 years of that. Now go pick another job that you qualify to get 2 years of that. Then you get 2 years of that and you go to the next job to get the next 2 years of something else. I said, it's to me, like, there's a part of it just, I think because I'm a recruiter, I view it differently. But for him, it was like,
Yeah.
And it's okay.
We definitely have that. It's like a blessing and a curse to look at everything from the recruiter lens.
Yeah. But I think there's just, but you're right, like the transferable skills and not looking for job titles, but looking for the skills. Like, what are the things you want to do in a job? I mean, I want to get paid to be me and do that, but that's not. So, like,
pay me to scroll Twitter.
I would like to get paid to take naps and watch true crime, but here we are in HR.
Jasmine's doing her best to turn this HR podcast, video channel, whatever, into a true crime one. And I'm afraid one day that's going to mean that she's going to murder me so that there can be a true crime investigation.
Well, if you listen to the podcast, you'll know that I'm preparing. So come on, Christina.
We're here to support Christina.
So before we continue and have just another full hour just talking about recruiting, because that's not my favorite topic. I want to say thank you so much, Melissa. We learned a lot tonight about this program. We think it sounds fantastic. I think that you will have people from, our listeners, followers, and audience will definitely reach out to you to ask you some questions on possibly what they can do in their organization. And of course, we will have Melissa's information down below. So you can all check that out and make sure you follow, email, like whatever that she has provided.
I'm happy to help.
Well, thank you so much. Until next time, y'all, we will see y'all later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.